So let's just quickly look at what we have in the deck. I've been over a lot of it already. I've been through a lot of it. Of course, the Sarah's Ascendant, it's very important because, well, it's a 1-1 for 1 with lifelink, but as soon as you have 30 more life, which you're going to have at some point or the other during most games, um, you get a +5/+5 and flying, and the flying really puts it over the edge. But it's a 6/6 flying lifelink in a two-headed giant match from the beginning, from the first round, uh, and it is a 6/6 with flying lifelink as soon as you get 30 life. So it's a pretty amazing card. If you draw this late game, it's unlike other 1/1s. It's just gonna make you happy. It's gonna make you unbelievably happy because you get a huge creature for one, which means that you can usually also have spells in your hand, tricks like instant effects and so on. Um, so it just has so much value. And even on the in the first few rounds, some of the other decks which are more creature heavy are gonna take a couple of rounds to get started. And if you can get in for 1, 2, 3 points of life with a life link, it's gonna help you out with your Pride Mate. Soul Warden, I run 3. I would say 4 is also a viable option, but 3 because I literally have no room for it. But you have to run as many as possible. It's amazing and it really helps your deck synergy. As soon as you have one down, you start putting your opponent in a lock because your synergy is starting to work, and every time he puts down a creature, he's helping you out. And the same with you when you put down a creature, it's really helping you out. And this card alone makes it so that the Pride Mate comes down as a 3/3 rather than a 2/2, and just keeps going from there on. Swords to Plowshare is a classic. I used to run it a lot when I played Paper Magic back in the late 90s. It's an amazing card, especially because you can exile creatures that come back, like what's it called? They're like the card that nobody runs, the Graveborn Ghoul, or what's it called? The you can definitely exile the Phoenixes, Chandra's Phoenix, which is a huge pain in the ass. And you can play it against your own creature and gain the life yourself. So, for example, if an opponent is playing a removal spell on your creature, for example, a huge Ajani's Pride Mate or a buffed Ceres Ascendant, then you get all that life. So yeah, really really good card. It has many different. It has a few more applicabilities, if that's even a word, ways of usage than most removal spells. So it's pretty interesting. The Pride Mate almost speaks for itself. It's just amazing. It's 2/2 for 2. If you have the Pro Medallion down, it's a 2/2 for 1. Whenever you gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter on Ajani's Pride Mate, and you gain life so much in this deck, and especially in this build. So yeah, it's a no-brainer that you have to run for them. I do, at least. Knights of the Meadow Grain is, as I said, it's good. It's not amazing. It was really really good in Benighted in 2012. It's a slightly less amazing in this format, but it's still good, still really good, with a first strike and lifelink. And as I said before, the first strike lifelink combination is really gonna help your Pride Mates out when you attack with both of them. And the fact that it costs two for two with first strike and lifelink makes it a really good card on paper. But it's just, yeah, you could put in another Soul Warden instead of, but you want attackers and you want more lifelink. You want as much lifelink as possible to the extent where it makes sense, at least. Um, Moments of heroism, you could run two. I run one because it's nice to have a trick. It's really not a tricksy kind of deck, but you want tricks here and there, or I do at least, because you know that a lot of the other decks run tricks or removal which is numerical in a sense that that it removes cards with 2 points damage, 3 points damage, 4 points damage, rather than just the destroy effect. So this can get your creature out of that situation. Plus, it's amazing in battle. So and this is also very important. If you get an Ajani's Pride made in past all the blockers, um, it doesn't have lifelink from the get-go, so this will get it lifelink, even if only momentarily. Make it bigger momentarily, gain life, and from that get it a +1/+1. It is definitely a good card, and I would recommend running it. Um, Pearl Medallion, yeah, it makes your deck much smoother. It makes it's not just another land. The medallions. I remember listening to the podcast right after 2013 came out with Laser from Duels community and Die Show and Weapons of Mass Gaming and ITCF for whatever his name is, and I remember a lot of hatred towards the medallions from the beginning. People didn't run them. People talked about the only deck where it made sense to run it was Born of Flames, I think it's called. Which I agree with it. It absolutely makes sense to run it in Born of Flames, but I would say it makes sense to run it in just about every deck where you can get them, especially decks where you gain a lot from being able to throw down 1, 2, or 3 spells and creatures, permanents and spells in one round. Because every time you see that colorless cost on your spell or on your creature, you're going to get more value out of it, and you can, per default, make your lands, your mana stretch further. So the medallions it's a very efficient ramp. So I run 2 of them. It's an important card in this deck. Loxodon Warhammer is amazing because it turns situations such as when your opponent has a fog bank down and you have a huge Ajani's Pride made down into a situation from a situation where you can do nothing to hurt him and it doesn't make sense to attack, into a situation where it actually makes sense to attack, where you make your guy bigger, where he becomes a threat again. So that is a hugely important card. And the lifelink to ability, as opposed to with the Basilisk Collar, along with Trample and +3/+0 is, it speaks for itself. It's really an amazing card. It helps this deck so much. Recumbent Bliss, you need more removal, and this removal not only removes creatures, it gives you life every turn, and that helps you out in different ways, life gain and cross buffing. So That's important. Already talked about solemn offering. Run 1 or 2, I would say. 3 is a bit extensive. You're not gonna run into too many. Oh, unless you wait until the DLC, the first DLC comes out. I think it's Return to Ravnica, because you're going to have a aura deck, which is going to be blue and white, much along the lines of the Auramancer from 2012. So Solemn Offering makes a lot of sense when you're sideboarding against that deck. Okay, talked about White Sun Zenith already. It's an amazing card, but only run one of them in this deck. Chastise, really, really good. Really good. It catches them by surprise, sometimes at least, and it gives you so much value. It's a little expensive though, but the Pearl Medallion will make it an incredible option, and you can even use it on your own creature in a losing battle, which will buffer your creature again. So you can actually attack with a few creatures, um, kill off one of them, which is going into a losing battle, buffer your or buff your sorry, I keep saying buffer, buff your Ajani's Pride Maid, make it bigger, and perhaps even your Ceres Ascendant. So there's different options. It's just like the Swords to Plowshare. It does give you options, and it's amazing. Instant speed spells are tricks that this deck surely needs. Day of Judgment, talked about this already. It is important sometimes to be able to have a board clearer, and this is your guy. Or spell. Marshal's Anthem is really good because your creatures are going to be easily removed by decks that have a lot of removal spells. So the +1/+1 helps you out a little bit, but what really helps you out is the multi-kicker effect that makes you pull cards out of your graveyard. And being able to pull out for the same price actually, a Pride Maid, a Ceres Ascendant, a Soul Warden, a da da da. What is this angel? The Baneslayer Angel, of course. Sorry, I hope you forgive me, my dear. Or even, and this can be a really like a game changer, a game ender even, the Felidar Sovereign. If you pull this out of the graveyard after the opponent thought that he got rid of it, and you're already up above 40 in life, you win the next turn. So yeah, Marshal's Anthem has several uses. Uh, the pump effect is good, but it is the multi-kicker effect that makes it amazing. And especially because this solidifies the fact that this deck is a late game deck. Rock's Faith Mender is not necessary, but I just like it. It makes your other life gain effects so much more potent. And it's a 1/5 lifelink, which makes it great against goblins, great against peacekeepers. So yeah, not much to say about it. It can be really, really good. Already talked about the Seraph of Dawn. It's not an amazing card by any stretch. It's decent. It's good enough, but it's filler in a sense. But it's a necessary filler because you want those flyers and you want that lifelink. Already talked about Archon of Redemption. Same thing. Although you could run the deck in a way where you have like I said before, much more, many more flyers, and this will give you more bang for your bucks. But yeah, one is enough for me, I think. Baneslayer Angel, talked about her. Amazing, amazing. Landmine Ritual is a fairly easy way to jump from 20 to 30 and just out of the blue make your Ceres Ascendants huge. So normally I don't like these life gain spells, these sorceries that give you a lot of life for yeah whatever. But in this format, I think it's necessary to have at least one of these cards because it's just it gives you for not that much really. Because for example, in the green format, you usually have for 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 or more. You have life gain spells that are it's just way too costly. But here you have a life gain spell because it's white. It only costs 5, and even less if you have one of the medallions or two of the medallions down, and you get not one but 2 life for each plane you control. So at this time, without a medallion, you gain 10 life at your land drop 5. So if the opponent hasn't kicked your skull in yet, this is going to make your Ceres Ascendance large. And that's really important. Really amazing. And then we have the end game king, the king of the end game. Um, it has vigilance and lifelink. It's a shame it doesn't have flying, but it's a 4/6 for 6, which is not amazing. But the vigilance and lifelink certainly helps. It can be a decent blocker. It can give you some life, but let's face it, you run it because at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. And it is not like one of those far-fetched scenario cards where you play it for 8, 9, or 10 mana and it just changes the game completely. No, you play it for 6 mana. It is killable, and you do have to wait a turn. But if you have 40 life and you play this card, then the next turn you win. And this make this card just amazing. If it didn't have this effect, I would definitely not run it. I would run one more Soul Warden. But because it has this effect, it just makes it necessary. It makes it, even though it costs 6, it's just infinitely better than Celestial Force, um, Sarah Avatar, and Purity. Infinitely better. So this is the way I run it, and yeah, I think I'm going to split this video up in 2 parts, so you can pick and choose what you want to see. My deck build or the actual matches I had. So thanks for watching and laters.